Tesla up more than 8% today, but shares are still lower by nearly 11% since August 24th, after Elon Musk said Tesla will, in fact, remain public.
Well, joining us now to discuss more on this and other trends with millennial investors is JJ Kinahan, Chief Market Strategist at TD Ameritrade. JJ, thanks for joining us today.
Always a pleasure.
So it sounds like, based on your data, millennials have a penchant for volatility, at least where Tesla's concerned.
Well, Tesla's a special one. You know, our IMX comes out once a month, came out today, showed our clients overall taking more exposure to the market over the last month. In fact, the most since February. But what's really interesting to us is that for the month, our clients were net sellers, but our millennial clients, it was the number one traded stock by them since the tweet you just mentioned. And number two, the millennial clients turned to buyers about a week ago as the stock started to get hit. So they still see the long-term buy in this stock compared to maybe some others who got nervous. And in fact, even with the pot smoking incident last week, that didn't slow them down from being net buyers of the stock.
And so, JJ, if a lot of people, millennials, were buying it after the August 7th tweet about going private with funding secured, do you think that underlines how sort of misleading the tweet was by Elon Musk, given that millennials who might not be experienced traders were drawn in by the fact that Elon Musk put this tweet out, and that it sort of shows a kind of lack of responsibility taken by him?
Well, actually, initially they were, but then quickly turned to sellers, so to speak, after a day or two. So some people may have sort of gotten into that. Now, it's not really up to me. That's going to be more for the corporate governance, et cetera, to decide whether that was misleading or not. But I will say there have been a series of strange behaviors for a CEO. With that being said, I thought it was interesting that since that date, as I said, it's normally one of our top 10 traded stocks as a firm. It's been in our top 5 traded stocks since then. So many people have an interest in what went on with that tweet and what Tesla's future is. So it really is a stock that appeals across all generations. But with that, millennials had turned to sellers. And then, as I said, over the last week or so, they were the ones who have kind of led the buyback over the last few days. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here, because that and the stock square were really the only major differences in what we saw in our millennial population and in our overall population. And, as I said, this year we continue to see Tesla being a primary focus of all investors back and forth.
JJ, you mentioned that overall your clients are kind of rebuilding exposure to the market, but it was a pretty significant peak back late last year. It came down hard with the correction, and you really haven't necessarily seen them fully re-embrace the market yet, at least by the measure of this index. So I guess that could suggest that people are not kind of all in at the moment.
I agree with you, Michael. So if you look at what happened last year, our clients increased their exposure every single month. Starting right at January, they decreased their exposure for 5 months in a row. Now starting to increase exposure again. I think one of the most interesting parts of the index this month is not only the stocks, but they also bought fixed income and fixed income related stocks. Like an AT&T and a Ford, 6% dividends, not necessarily the most attractive stocks perhaps in the world at the moment, but again, they are looking for yield, which I think is quite a comment on the sort of the faith of will we get to above a 3% yield on the 10-year, even though it seems as though we have an imminent rate hike coming. So I thought that inside there was one of the most interesting things overall that we have seen in a while, is really our clients taking much more exposure to fixed income. So we'll have to see what happens there too. As you said, a very cautious and directed way of getting back in.